Welcome to Lady in the Diamond. I'm your host, Lina Rodriguez. And like always, I feel like I should call you my umpire. Should I call you my umpire or should I call you the
Sure.
pitcher? What do you want to
Umpire
be?
Bill.
Okay, there we go.
I,
Well, I'm
I
sorry,
get
Bill.
called a lot of things, not that, but that's good.
I was gonna say he's got the blue shirt, right? Get it
Right,
right,
yeah,
blue.
that's yeah. That's exactly what
Yes,
you when you got on camera, that's like exactly what I pictured. So yes, well, hopefully you'll call all good calls on this show.
absolutely.
Yeah, well, welcome to our show. Thank you, Alex, for joining us today. We are very excited to get to know you and, your favorite baseball team. So let's go ahead and get into this. So tell me a little bit about, who's your favorite MLB team and how did you become a fan?
Yeah, so I'm an Angels fan. I am from Orange County. I've lived here my whole life. So I've just been a fan since I was young. I've always really liked baseball. My aunt and my uncle, they would take me to games, and I'm just like I like to be loyal to my hometown teams.
Hmm.
So I've always really been an Angels fan. I love the atmosphere. I love the color red. Like there's just so much about the team that I really always enjoyed going.
Yeah, and as we were talking before we jumped on here, basically, I love to hear about fans' experiences, even as a child, because it's very telling. Like it's one of those things. They're memories that you'll cherish forever. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So, speaking of, your love for baseball, what makes you love baseball so much?
I think I said this before, but I think it's so easy to understand compared to other sports. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter like what inning you're in or how many beers you've had, you always know what's going on. So I always enjoy that. And but there's also a lot of like strategy. There's like little like there's so much trivia with it.
Hmm.
Like you can't watch a game without hearing that so and so is like the first whatever to do whatever, right? So there's so much to learn along the way, no matter how long you've been a fan.
You know what? Speaking of trivia, you actually just kind of sparked this idea. So I've been thinking about this, like, how do we make Lady in the Diamond just, a little funner? Let's add a little spice to it. And I was thinking, like, it would be so cool if we had like trivia questions for the opposite. So, like, let's just say we had you and I don't know, another Dodger fan, not us, but like another Dodger fan. And so you would ask that person trivia questions about Dodgers, and then they would ask you questions about Angels. So that way you can really test each other and like, it could be like a game show where we're like, hey, like top fan trivia.
Top fan
Top fan
trivia.
trivia
Yeah.
night.
I mean,
Yeah.
that would be so fun. I mean, just I hope not today because I wasn't ready for
No,
the
no, no,
pop
not today, not today. No, no, no. We're not prepared. I need to do my research. Like if I tell the other guests like, hey, we're gonna have Alex on, they're an Angels fan. I need, to do some research. Like you do some research on some Angels. She's gonna do some research on Dodgers, and you'll both have to question each other. And then whoever gets the most answers correct, then I don't know, they get something. Like
That'd
I
be
just
so
think that
fun.
yeah, that would be so much fun. I think that it really one will test how big of a fan are you? Like, are you really a fan, or you just wear the stuff because it's cute?
Yeah,
Because
totally.
I wear the stuff because it's cute. Like I'm just being honest. I'm still learning about the game, so I'm using this as a selfish reason to do my research on baseball and rivalry teams. Like I love to go to San Francisco, and I also love to go to San Diego and like watch Dodgers play, either the Giants or the Padres, because it's just a different feel at the game when it's a rivalry team.
No, that's so true. That's totally true.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's go on about getting to know you and more about angels. So the next time you're on, I can be like, yeah, remember you said this, and then
Yeah,
all
I'll
right.
have
So
to
uh,
study.
yes. So do you have traditions going to a game? So I'll give you an example. Like me and my friends, we love to pregame at the parking lot. That's just our thing. That's what we do. We have a good old time before we get to the game. When we're at the game, it feels like it's just that much more interesting because you were pre-gaming, So what is like a tradition for you?
Yeah, so I mean that was really amazing like 4 years ago before my son was born. I
Oh, yes, yes.
definitely used to pregame in the parking lot.
Yeah.
We used to love the tailgate. That was always like super
Hmm.
fun. The Angels have like a really good parking lot for that. Uh,
Hmm.
but now, I mean, I just love to take my son. I love to go with my husband, our friends, and we walk around the stadium. I've been like more interested in like what new foods out there.
Hmm.
Um, and then also like we always get a different seat. Like we never get the same seat. And it's always cool to kind of see the perspective and the fans and the different sections. Like
Hmm.
I remember back in the day when like the Yankees were in town, um the fans like sitting on the top deck, like there were always so many Yankees fans because like
Hmm.
they like didn't want to like pay for like the seats at the bottom.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it's just like a different feel, like obviously the different team and like no matter where you sit. So I think
Hmm.
I just change it up a little bit, but yeah, always love going regardless.
Yep, absolutely. All right. So,
Oh, but
obviously,
you know what? One thing I do always do is I always take a picture of the big A. I don't know why, like it's
yeah.
almost as if it's like gonna change one day, but like that's like one picture I always take, and then obviously one of the fields. Like you can
Mm,
never have enough of those pictures.
yeah, I agree. I agree 1,000%.
Alex, did you know that used to be the scoreboard?
Yeah, yeah. It used to be also in like the
Left
outfield.
field. Yeah.
Yeah, and because like Orange County or just California in general was like a big car culture. They had like you could drive up into like the area. We had the
Hmm.
first drive-through in California. So
Wow.
there's yeah, so that's like I think always like a really cool piece of history. And we used to always like to tailgate under the big A too.
That's awesome. Legendary for sure. So obviously you have a lot of memories there at the Angel Stadium. So what are two favorite memories that you could share with us?
Yeah, so in 2009, I remember going to a playoff game. I still remember those. And we were playing the Yankees and we won. And I was with one of my best girlfriends. And she had like this big old sign that said like beat the Jinx.
Hmm.
And we were so excited. Well, we went to like I think like two of the games and we won both of them. So we're like, okay, we gotta go to New York now. Like we are on a winning streak.
Hmm.
But as we were leaving, there was like this keg that was just sitting there. And we like took a picture, but we were like, oh, let's steal the keg.
Yeah.
Um, so that was really fun. Because it was a playoff game and I was with one of my really good girlfriends, who ended up being one of my bridesmaids. So my next memory, which I hardly ever talk about on the podcast, is when my husband and I got married at Angel Stadium. So that's like a
What?
huge, obviously, memory for me.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That would have been my first one, but yes, yes, that's awesome.
Well, I had to go like in chronological order.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that was back in 2015. So yeah, we got married at Angel City. We got married on home plate,
Oh,
and our
did
reception
they
was
do
at the Diamond
this?
Club. Yeah, and I always joke, I'm like, oh, that one time I was naked at Angel Stadium and I didn't get arrested. Like, so that was all that was like such a great time. Like my friends talk about it all the time. Like I take pictures out all the time. Like people are so interested and I love talking about it, obviously. So
That's
um that was
awesome.
like amazing.
Oh, you gotta share more about that. So like what yeah, like what's the process of like, it's already a lot to plan a wedding, let alone on a baseball field.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean I planned my whole wedding by myself,
Mhm.
like down to like every detail, but like a few years, I think maybe like 2 years into my husband and I dating, we got engaged at 4 years. Like his parents like left the register, the Orange County Register on the table, and they were like, this couple got married there, and they were like, oh yeah, you can do that there. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna do this, like whether
Mhm.
you're there or not, like I'm doing this. And so yeah, sure enough, like 2 years later, we got engaged, and I remember we got engaged at the Huntington Beach Hyatt and we were sitting on the balcony
Mhm.
and after dinner and I like whipped open like my phone. I was like, okay, how do I get married at Angel Stadium? I'm like, who do I need to contact? Who do I need to
Oh
email?
wow.
So yeah, so I think maybe like that Monday or something, I like reached out and then we kind of got everything together. Yeah, it all came together really nicely
Yeah.
and the red carpet what is it, red carpet events at Angel Stadium. Like they're amazing to work with, and we've had such a great time, and they're so flexible, and it's actually like really comparable to like getting married anywhere else. So that was like the other thing is like it wasn't as expensive as people think, but it was just like so amazing. And we had a really long engagement, and part of that was because we wanted to make sure everything was right, and we had to make sure that we were in the off season too.
Oh, yes.
We did end up I think it was like we ended up going to like the wild card
Mhm.
game that year that we got engaged.
Oh,
And
wow.
so then it was like the following year that we got married.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
that's an amazing memory for sure. Like that tops probably everybody else's memories of all time. Like I got that's a low key flex. Actually, maybe high key, but it's definitely a flex. So yeah, that's amazing. Well, as Bill had mentioned, we do have, our game called Finish the Sentence. So Bill and I were gonna take turns so that way, you can get a little snappy with him if you need to.
It wouldn't be the first time or the last, let me
Yeah,
tell you.
that's for sure.
Exactly. So, Bill, I'm gonna go ahead and toss the ball over to you, and you can go ahead and start us off,
I love all the baseball puns, by the way.
right? It just
Yes.
makes sense.
Listen, it's all about the baseball puns. Here we go. Finish the sentence. Mike Trout is.
The GOAT. Like, how do you finish that sentence any other way? Like Mike Trout is the best in all aspects, right? Like he is humble, he is amazing, and he is dedicated, he's loyal, and he is amazing.
I
Okay.
feel like she's
Is he
talking about her
amazing? I don't
husband.
know
I couldn't tell. I was like, she's talking about her husband, or she's talking about Mike.
No, no, I've seen the laminated list that she has from Friends, right?
Mhm.
Remember when you got the freebie list? Mike Trout was number one. It was only one person on there's number one, Mike Trout.
That's awesome. All right, so your two current favorite players on the Angels are.
Logan O'Hoppe would be one. My son is obsessed with him. Oh my gosh, so obsessed. And I think number two, I'm gonna say Zach Neto. I really like him.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, he's just really awesome, and I mean, definitely has a lot to learn here and there, but I think he's going to be one of the good ones.
You know what I love about you is this how you know you're a true fan when you like low key shade your own team because I do that. Like I'll do that because earlier you were like this when we were actually in the playoffs. It's like Bill and I had to hold it together because that was very
Yes,
Well, I knew what he was going to say, so like I had to acknowledge it first.
yes. Lena, I've got to send you a picture of Alex's baseball card that I need to deliver to her when I get back home. It's Alex, is it okay that I tell her about the picture?
Yeah, yeah.
It's her sitting in the Angels dugout in her wedding dress.
Oh, that's so cool. I gotta see this. I gotta see this.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
All right, Alex, your two favorite players of all time are.
I love Garrett Anderson,
Mhm.
GA. I just like so I'm not obvious like I've mentioned like childhood memories, so I'm not a new fan, but I did have a little break in between. So I would say like when I started getting back into baseball and going to games and stuff like that, I just always really loved Garrett Anderson. He had some slumps along the way, but just like he was the way he carried himself, the way the players kind of like looked up to him and you could tell he was mentoring them. I really liked that. Um, and I always really liked Sean Figgins. Probably like one of like the least said names, but I love utility players. I just think they're so fun to watch. I like someone that's gonna get their pants dirty. I used to actually scream that about someone. I'm like, your pants aren't even dirty. Like you're not even playing the game. So I did appreciate that about Sean Figgins. He could play the field. It wasn't like a power hitter, but he was definitely good on the field.
Those are great, great, great answers for sure. All right, so being that you were married at the stadium, I feel like I don't know if this is even going to be appropriate, but your favorite Angels memory is
We're getting married there. Um, But I also think like taking my son to the game, like his very first game, I thought that was like I was like, oh my God, we're here. Like my son was born during the pandemic. So it was like so surreal to actually like be there. Also, I ditched my son at like 3 months old to go to spring training. So I was like, I need to make it up to him. So
Mother of the
that
decade.
yeah, that was like really, really cool. And then now he like loves going to games. He's like obsessed and like wants to play with all our bobbleheads from like years past. And we're like, no, those are staying in the box.
Yes, yes, I agree. Yeah, you got to keep those for him for sure. You know what? I might have skipped one, but go ahead, Bill. Your
No, I'm
turn.
gonna go back to the one that you skipped. That's fine.
Okay.
Going to Angel Stadium for you is
Um, it is fun. I love going to Angel Stadium. I love the atmosphere. I love the fans. It's like a night out. When my friends ask like, "Oh, what do you want to do tonight?" Like, let's go to an Angel game. I love last minute, thoughts of going. Because it's just down the street from us. Like, it's so easy. Um, so yeah, I would say it's the best time ever. Well, I mean, maybe not ever, but Disneyland's fun too.
Yes,
very
and then
good.
there's Disneyland. Yeah, exactly. Kind of hard to compare the two, but Disneyland, you're more than likely gonna have a good time there. I don't know too many people that go to Disneyland and like are sad, so I
Yeah.
get it.
No, I used to say like my favorite places are home, obviously, Angel Stadium and Disneyland. Like those are like my three favorite places.
I always had well, as an adult and having a child, I was like, oh, I need to have a yearly pass. So it's nice that as a Southern California resident, you could get the passes for cheaper. So
Yeah.
I always appreciated that.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so last question. Top fan rivalry is
Community, the best, the SHIT. Um,
Sugar Honey
I
Iced Tea.
honestly like no, that's like the best thing that could have happened to us was finding this community. Like we started our Instagram like back in 2019, but didn't like make it public. So I was like, oh yeah, I want to like make sure I get all my pictures up because my husband and I have been traveling to different baseball stadiums for a while.
Yeah.
Actually I say our delayed honeymoon was going to the East Coast for baseball games. So yeah, so we started with a goal of like meeting people to go to games with or getting tips from, and like really like Top Fan just made it so much easier for us
Mhm.
to do that. So I went public with my Instagram in 2023, 22. And yeah, so it's been great ever since, like meeting everybody, especially like through Bill and Amber and yeah, everyone's been on podcasts. They've been so fun to listen to. I always like sometimes like I stock up and listen to them on my flights. So I'm like, or if I'm gonna meet someone, I'm like, okay, let me make sure I listen to their podcast.
Yeah, I love that. Well, we definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us today on Lady in the Diamond. And Bill, thank you as always for just being a great player. I feel like you always come in here and even though you sit there and sit pretty, I appreciate just your very presence.
You really do
Thank
look like
you.
an umpire today.
He
Thank
does.
you.
Yeah.
You ladies are amazing. Again, Lena, you always do a great job with this show, and I just love sitting back and listening to it. Alex, you know that I can hang with you and Matt anytime. Whether it's hanging out at Noble or whether it's going to a game or wherever we're at in the country. It's always a good time and it's never boring. That's for sure. That's for sure. And I love it. And I think Alex, you're gonna do more on Instagram, I think it sounds like. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Excited about that. Lena, you did a great job with the show again. We should probably do it again next week, right?
Oh, we will. And I have a rivalry fan for real. So he is a Padres fan. And trust me, me and him, when we start talking sports, it gets a little crazy. So be ready for that one.
I, I'll have to have an audience. Maybe I'll invite Alex and a few other people on just so that they can listen in and like hold up scorecards on who won and different things
I
like
was
that.
thinking we could do like the sound effects, like ooh. Ooh,
Oh
No,
no.
we should probably really kick off the trivia show next week. And that way we can like show people like, hey, this is what the trivia game is. And it's probably gonna be a little rowdier than when you play Uno. Like if you know, you know. When you play Uno,
Yes.
you can get a little rowdy and get a little crazy. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. 100%. 100%. Well, you ladies are awesome. I always look forward to this, Lena, because you always bring the flavor. And when you get Alex in a room, like I said, you're never gonna be bored. So
I'm excited to go to the Angel Stadium finally. I've seen it my whole life and I've never been.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. Come on
I have
down
to
the
go
pipe.
see it. I might even get married there too. We'll see.
Hey, we'll find you. We'll find you a hubby there.
uh, the question is have you picked out the guy yet? That's the problem, right? I mean,
I got the guy. I'm just waiting on the ring. So yeah.
there you go. There you go. Awesome. Well, we'll do it again next week. Ladies, stick around for a second, but thank you so much for the time and hope you enjoyed it. And we will talk to everybody soon.
Thank you.
Bye.